Welcome to the following on podcast. England have lost a test match and squared a series by the narrowest possible margin, losing by a single run to New Zealand in the second test match, the Basin Reserve in Wellington. Chasing a target of 258, England were bowled out for 256 in truly extraordinary fashion, with the last pair at the crease, Jack Leach and Jimmy Anderson, needing 7 to win. Anderson hit a 4 to take England to within 2 runs of victory before he was caught down the leg side by Tom Blundell, the keeper, off the bowling of Neil Wagner, who finished with 4 for 62. And just as we thought England might become the first team to win an away winter series with a clean sweep, they lost by a single run. England resumed in the morning on 48 for 1 and quickly slumped to 80 for 5 with a 6-wicket partnership of 121 between former captain Joe Root and current captain Ben Stokes, bringing them back into the contest. From 80 for 5 they reached 201 for 5, but both perished to the hook shot, Root for 95 and Stokes for 33. Ben Foakes then took control, batting with the tail. He made a calm, composed 35, which once again put England back in control of the test match. But New Zealand refused to be bowed and kept fighting in the end, keeping alive their proud record of 11th consecutive home series without defeat by winning by a single run. Truly remarkable. England made 435 for 8 and 256, New Zealand 209, and that brilliant innings from Kane Williamson, 132 in a total of 483 was good enough for Williamson to be named man of the match for New Zealand. But I have to say that every one of the New Zealand players deserves a part of every accolade going. Steve Harmison is alongside me. He experienced something similar as a player in his time some years ago, and he's now experienced a similarly dramatic conclusion to a test match from the commentary box. It was difficult to keep our breath at times, but you know what, in the end, Harmy, there were smiles on everybody's faces. There was a sense and an acknowledgement from everybody, from Ben Stokes to Brendan McCullum and all of the England players, that they had been part of history, and it takes 2 teams to create entertainment of that sort.
Absolutely, 100%. New Zealand might have won this test match, but I think cricket was a winner, close second. You know what, it's hard to get your head around what's just happened in this, not only in this test match, but in this series. It's been every single sort of session, every single hour has been so enthralling, with both sides wanting to have a go and trying to play positively. And this test match has been no different. 21 for 3 in the first innings for both sides. England making sure they keep holding the advantage and take the positive route by making New Zealand follow on. And then right at the very end, England had won it, they'd lost it. New Zealand had thrown it away. England had come back into it. And then right at the very end, when everybody was questioning, a lot of people were questioning Neil Wagner. Never have a go at a great character, great man. A desire to always wanting to win. And for me, he was a difference in that last half an hour with his aggressive bowling style. Didn't get it all quite right. And you're right, I did experience something very, very similar with the short ball right at the end of another enthralling test match. And spare a thought to Jack Leach and to Jimmy Anderson there, because it's not nice when you're the tail end batsman that goes out there and you're the last wicket. But full credit to New Zealand, they were absolutely magnificent.
Dan McHardy, how are you feeling, sir?
I'm quite emotional. I'm looking forward to listening to Ben Stokes though.
Ben Stokes is with Sam Ellard.
Ben, Test cricket, we love it, don't we? We hate it, but oh my, that was some day cricket. Just sum up your emotions.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't say hate it. I mean, if you say you hate Test cricket after a day like this, then oh God, I don't know. I mean, that was incredible. The fact that the game's actually gone to 5 days after the first few days is amazing. I personally, huge credit to the ground staff here at Wellington for producing a wicket like that. That's probably one of the best overall Test wickets that we've played on in a long time. But yeah, stood here being on the losing side of that game, it's just, I don't feel any emotion, just except, I don't know, just happy just for everyone who got to see that. The fact that it was free entry today and people got to see an absolute cracker of a last day.
Because that's what you and Brendan have spoken about a lot over the last year, right? Entertaining people, wanting people to enjoy Test cricket. And as you said, everyone here has done that today.
Yeah, and I think as well, just not to get lost, we're obviously disappointed not to win. But, when you look at the bigger picture, this is just another sign of Test cricket not dying out on what people are saying. Coming into here on day 5 and having that kind of end is just so exciting for people to watch. It's so exciting to play in. And, obviously we'd obviously rather come out on the victorious side, but I don't think right now is the time and place to reflect on anything else except we've been a part of something very special today, and that's what we're going to take for it at the moment.
What was going through your head at the end there? Did you think when Ben was at the crease that he was going to get the team over the line? There was that misfield there, and I'm thinking Jimmy's going to hit the winning runs. Would you tell me your emotions there towards the final sort of half an hour of playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those times where you've got everyone saying, this is what they're going to bowl, this is what he's going to play, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. It's just those nervous energies all coming around. But look, I mean, you've caught me 10 minutes after that game, so it's quite not got my thoughts together. But I'm just happy that we managed to produce a great series and just a great game again. I mean, look, everyone's still here to listen to everyone speak, so it's what you want.
One man we're going to hear speak very shortly is Harry Brook. Goodness me, Ben. He's some player, isn't he?
I mean, the line of lengths that he managed to bowl throughout the whole, Test match was really good. I thought he really made the batsmen struggle. He didn't quite know where to score off them, and we finally found ourselves a fourth seamer.
Is he the next Ben Stokes?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's quality. Obviously this winter he's got himself into the team and he showed the ability to be able to go out there and produce performances after performance and in all types of different situations and different types of pressure. But just for a 24-year-old to have people who've played a lot of games and going like, I want to bat like Harry Brook, it's a good sign. I likened him to, you look at India, obviously Virat Kohli and Sachin Tendulkar. When Sachin was playing, everyone wanted to bat like Sachin. When Virat's now playing, everyone in India wants to bat like Virat. I know Michael Vaughan said it actually, but I think a lot of kids would be wanting to bat like Harry Brook. So what a player!
He's some player. Are you okay, Ben? You only bowled 2 overs in that third innings. Is your knee okay?
Oh yeah, look, I mean it's common knowledge that the knees, obviously not 100%. But look, I know I've got a good amount of time before we start in the Ashes, and I'll be doing everything I possibly can to definitely be able to help the side out. It is frustrating as an individual and as a captain knowing that I'm physically not able to do what I want to do. But as something I'm got 2, 3, 4 months even before the Ashes starts to go away, work on that, and then come back and be my best.
Everything's going to be okay. I mean, how are you going to look to sort of manage that schedule over the next couple of months? Because you're obviously due to go to the IPL very shortly as well. Yeah,
obviously got the IPL, get a few weeks at home, rest before we go out there, and then it'll just be a process of getting everything that I need to do. It's been tough out here, being able to get everything rehab wise on my knee, because we've been sort of playing and back-to-back games. But I've been working as hard as I possibly can to try and give myself the best opportunity to bowl. But sometimes unfortunately the body doesn't allow you to do that. But it's one of my goals to make sure that when we turn up at that first test in the summer, I don't have to worry about it.
Ben, we wish you better. It's been some year. Thanks for the entertainment.
Thanks, pal. Cheers.
Well, for a moment there it sounded like Ben Stokes might be sidestepping the issue of the IPL, but it looks like he's still planning to be there, and obviously, as we heard, we know he's absolutely committed to English Test cricket, and he wants to be there for the Ashes. Dan McHardy, still recovering. You got your breath back?
Heart rate's still up. I'm not the fittest going around. Utterly incredible. Utterly incredible. Quite emotional watching that fight back against a quality side who are on a rampant run of form, scything through opposition. We held on for 3.5 days in Mount Maunganui, but were clearly second best. Here it looked like it was going to be a repeat performance, but England were clearing away from early now, weren't they, after a little bit of early joy, 21 for 3 in that remarkable partnership. Little old New Zealand at the end of the world they have big heart, this team. They really do. They know how to fight. And if New Zealand cricket fans can't be proud of that, they'll never be satisfied. Wonderful performance, amazing theatre, cracking pitch. My beloved Basin delivered on that front. This is a game, and and you guys are commentators of the highest order. I hate using that term, unbelievable, when we've just seen something with our own eyes. I'm struggling to comprehend what we have seen here. A truly extraordinary game, a game we will never forget.
Well, the game's been played for 145 years, and there have been almost 3,000 of them. This is in the top six in terms of, it doesn't happen.
No.
We almost had a tied test, and New Zealand have become the fourth team. It's the fourth time that a team has won after following on in the history of the game. What happens once a century?
Once a century. Now, we have seen extraordinary games here at the Basin Reserve. I won't, relitigate some of the history, but this tops them all. It's a really good side in England. I still believe they made the right decision in enforcing the follow-on. Let the hindsight debate begin. It was a good bowling down day number 3. On any other day, they beat the edge, they get the edge. They probably have New Zealand 5 or 6 down. But Kane Williamson is just a wonder, is he not? In the heat of that battle, under all sorts of pressure from a quality English attack, he's just drifting in his own little world at his own little pace and playing his own little game, and found some willing partners throughout. Great opening stand from Latham and Conway. That set things up, and that's got to be acknowledged. But I asked before the day's play, can he light the fire again? Neil Wagner, incredible.
Sam Allard is with the one and only Harry Brook.
Harry Brook just asking where Steve Harmison is. He's up there. Wave up there. He's somewhere up there. Harry Brook wants to know where Steve Harmison is. Harry, goodness me, that was some end to the test. That's why we love Test cricket, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole mantra of us playing the way we are at the minute is to try and entertain crowds and entertain the world. And I think even though the result didn't go our way, we've definitely done that this week.
Talk me through that last hour watching up in the dressing room. It looked as if when Root and Stokes were there, I was confident England were going to win. Then Folks was playing really nicely. Just talk me through your emotions and what it was like being in the dressing room watching that unfold.
I was confident all the way until we needed 7 to win, and there was only Leachy and Jimmy. There's plenty of emotions going on. I was very nervous and hoping that we'd get over the line.
And just for you, you're holding there a nice big bottle of champagne. Do you like champagne?
After a few other drinks, maybe a couple of glasses, but not to start with.
Good.
Loopy.
So same here. You've got that because you're man of the series. Come and talk to me about the last 6 months interview. I know it didn't end with a victory here, but you're a World Cup winner. You're in the Test team. You're averaging about 617 with a bat in Test cricket. You're taking wickets. Just sum up what the last 6 months have been like for you, Harry.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal, and I think the World Cup's got to be a highlight for sure. But then obviously to go out and play the way I've done in Test cricket is a dream come true, and I think it's hats off to Stokesy and Baz as well for letting me play the way I am doing, and the way that the team are playing. And like I've said plenty of times, to have started my Test career off in Pakistan as well I was very lucky because I played so much cricket there before. So no, it's been a good 6 months, and long may it continue.
There'll be a bit of banter with Joe later for that run out.
I've given him the cold shoulder a bit at the minute, but he's gonna have to get me a few drinks.
You're just ignoring him completely.
No, he said sorry and whatnot, but it's hard to just shrug off. Yeah, it's hard to shrug off, but no, things happen. And, like I just said then, if somebody had given me that game at the start of the match, personally, obviously we didn't get the result we wanted, but if somebody had given me the amount of runs I scored in that game, I'd have definitely bitten your hand off it for it. So things like that happen, but thankfully they don't happen every game.
And it's been an amazing 6 months, hasn't it, for this England team? And after the one test for Ireland, it's the Ashes, and they don't get any more exciting than that. You must be absolutely buzzing about facing Australia and England.
I haven't thought about it yet, to be honest. There's so much cricket to be played. I've got the IPL first, so all my attention's going towards that now. I'm going to enjoy this series tonight, and then fly off home and have a bit of downtime. So I haven't really thought about it yet, but obviously at the forefront of my mind is the IPL, and I've got that to think about them.
You buzzing for it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you over the last couple of weeks, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Harry Brook is like all of the England players. I mean, yes, there's disappointment about losing, but if Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes are satisfied with bringing people's attention back towards Test cricket, then they have reason to be extremely satisfied after that performance. Truly remarkable, and the resilience of New Zealand, we should never ever be surprised about that. But you know what, also the calmness under pressure and the innovative and creative thinking. I thought the way that Tim Southee, with the assistance of Kane Williamson and a number of other senior heads, the way they went about managing those final few overs down at Cardi, I thought was outstanding.
Yeah, I thought they started very well today. We highlighted before the day's play that most of the wickets here at the Basin Reserve, first hour and a half, yeah, it's an old trope, you want early wickets, but I thought they came out with great energy, stuck to their plan, executed it well, and were rewarded with those 4 wickets. But then we get a partnership, the game's creeping away from them. They tried the slower bowler option a lot from the Van stand in, and when that wasn't working, Root and Stokes are set. What do they go to? They go to the old dog, Neil Wagner. The drums are beating in New Zealand for him to possibly be out of the side. Bowls 11.2 overs on the trot from the Van stand in, picks up wickets, but you're right, it's for very fine margins. Can I borrow one of my great mates Smithy's? The barrister margins, a couple of those were very close to being wides. Would not have been surprised if the arms went wide open from the umpires, but they did keep calm now, didn't they? And the fact that Southee brought himself back needed to happen from the Government House end, the Adelaide Road end, because they needed, it seemed like a pressure valve coming off at the other end when Wagner was obviously pushing them hard. So just extraordinary day's play, Harvey, really. And that's, we could talk just about today, let alone the 5 days, for hours.
Still can't get my head around what happened at the end. And when you look at this sort of whole series as a whole, Matt Montgomery first session, England 130 was 136 in the first session. Bang, take that, New Zealand. There you go. And this team is just going to literally to a whole new level, and it's making you want to enjoy Test cricket again. But it's also manners. What I quite enjoy when Ben's talking and he's speaking about how he wants the game to be played. They're not sort of highlighting mistakes, because there are mistakes that have been made in the game, but they're not getting upset by it.
Right, we're going back downstairs. Sam Ellard is with Brendan McCullum.
Oh, thanks, manager. I've got the main man with me. What was it, Brendan? How did Rob Key sign off the announcement of you being the England head coach? Was it sit back and enjoy the ride? That just seemed a fitting way to end what's been a pretty crazy year for England cricket since you've come in. Just sum up your emotions after a bonkers and amazing day of Test match cricket.
Well, I think you said buckle up, and I think there was it was never more evident than that last hour. That was just an amazing Test match to be a part of, and obviously we're in this game to try and win, and we all get judged by our results. But we set out on this campaign when Stokes and myself took over to try and ensure that we play a style of cricket which gives us our best chance of winning, and also to entertain people all around the world and bring real relevance to Test cricket. And I thought today it doesn't get too much better than that final hour. And it's just, I'm really proud of the boys for the way that they clawed their way back into it after obviously a period earlier on in the Test match where we dominated. But it was just one of those Test matches, topsy-turvy, and in the end New Zealand were good enough in the clutch.
What was your emotions up there in the dressing room? Looked like when Root and Stokes were at the crease, they were going to see it at home, and then Ben Folkes played really nicely, and then I just thought Jimmy's going to hit the winning runs there. What were your emotions watching up there in the dressing room?
Boys were pretty calm, actually, and right throughout we've just tried to make sure we're having a lot of fun. We've got the greatest jobs in the world, being able to play cricket at the highest level, and for us as coaches to be able to work with some of the game's best players and see their talent be able to flourish on the big stage. And that's you should never lose sight of that. I think we're very lucky to be doing what we're doing, and to have seen the guys fight as hard as they did today. We're okay with losing, providing you give yourself the best chance of winning. I thought we did that right throughout, so we're pretty calm, hopeful, but we're calm. But look, it doesn't always, fairy tales don't always work out. But I had a little sense that I thought Jimmy Anderson was going to hit the winning runs as well, which would have been fantastic, but it wasn't to be.
That seemed like the fairy tale ending, didn't it? When you just look back on the last, well, coming up to a year now, isn't it? I mean, 10 test wins in 12. It's been, I know you want to entertain, but the results on the pitch have been absolutely fantastic, especially when you consider 1 win in 17. When you look back on the last year, what do you make of it all?
I couldn't be prouder of the guys. The way that the guys were brought in has been simply outstanding. I think the way that Stokes has led this team is quite incredible as well, and it's just such a fun dressing room to be a part of. And we know we've got some big challenges on the horizon. We'll attack those with the same sense of enjoyment that we've taken on the last 8-9 months. And I look back and I just think, from where we came from to where we've got now is quite a shift, and I think we're only scratching the surface. So let's see. But whatever happens, we know we're going to have a good time, and hopefully as a group we'll continue to entertain people.
I know it's a few months away, but come on, England, Australia, the Ashes. You've got a little smile there on your face. I know we got Ireland first, but people that have been involved in the game for a lot longer than me have said they've never looked forward more to an Ashes series than this one. Archer to come in potentially, Woods fit, Bairstow to be fit again. Are you buzzing for it?
Yeah, look, obviously both the skipper and myself have been pretty strong on making sure we are where our feet are, and we focus on what's in front of us. I think now we've got an opportunity when the dust settles on this tour to be able to start getting pretty excited about what lies ahead in the Ashes and the home summer. So yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on indeed. Just a couple more, Brendan. A lot of players have had great series, but I've got to ask you about man of the series, Harry Brook. You played with and coached and played against some of the very best of all time. How good is he? He's unbelievable, right?
He certainly is at this stage. Look, I think he's a player who keeps things really simple. He enjoys hitting the ball, he enjoys scoring runs, and he enjoys trying to put pressure on the opposition bowlers. So, but he's a rare talent, and one that we've got to make sure that we continue to give the same level of freedom that he's got as he enters this, as he's entered international cricket. But yeah, to be able to work with guys like that is quite a privilege, to be honest. And I've loved every minute of being able to see Harry develop on this team, and the environment that the skipper's created has given someone like Harry the opportunity to come in and play the style that he likes to play, and we've seen how successful that can be. So yeah, he's an exciting player. Our team's full of them, to be honest. I think I said at the start of the journey when I took over this team, I thought there was good players in England. I didn't realise that they were this good. We're not going to win every game, but gee, we've got a real stack of talent to be able to pick from, and yeah, we're very lucky to have players like Harry Brook in the side.
And the skipper's over there, just fingers crossed everything's okay with his knee. He makes a speedy recovery and he's fully fit for the first test of the summer.
Well, it's an Ashes summer, and he writes his own scripts, and he'll be fit. I think he'll be fine, and he'll be leading from the front, and can't wait to see how he gets the boys going, and I'm sure he'll be fine when the time comes.
Good stuff, and it's a beautiful evening in Wellington. What are the plans for this evening?
Well, I haven't really thought too much about it. We'll probably spend a bit of time in the dressing room, maybe share a beer with the New Zealand boys as well, and toast what's been a great series and a great spectacle for everyone that's followed it around the world and here in New Zealand as well. And then we'll see. No doubt we'll have to say our goodbyes as everyone sort of departs the New Zealand shores, and then we'll start to try and navigate the next couple of months and look forward to what's in front of us.
We can't wait, Brendan. What a 9 months. It's been a pleasure watching this England team. We'll see you soon.
Good man. Thank you.
Ben Stokes was asked, thank you very much indeed, Sam Ellard, and to Brendan McCullum. Ben Stokes was asked before the Test match how pleased the team would be, how satisfied they would be if they could win this series, or at least avoid defeat when they made their way home. And his response was, we'll be happy anyway, whatever the result of this Test match is. And I honestly believe that people will say, oh, well, just maybe taking the edge off what's been a really good tour, losing the last Test match. I honestly don't think that's actually the case. I mean, I think they've played fantastic cricket. They've showed also great resilience with 300-run partnership, having been 21 for 3 on the first day, and this team is having fun, and by having fun they have won 10 out of 12 games.
Yeah, absolutely, Manners. And the key thing there, but Brendan's just said, he said, it's not with a case that we don't mind losing games, but we'll take losing a game if we give ourselves the best chance to win it. And if you've got that attitude, like what Ben's trying to give off, which is positive, always look to take the positive option, always look to try and be the best person you can be, best player you can be the majority of the time. I think sometimes when you do lose, you can you can take it if you feel as though I've given everything I possibly can to try and win this game. And that, for me, is what's been special between McCullum and Stokes. And because of that, not because they've won 10 out of 12, I think they'll win a lot more cricket matches by having that mentality than they'll lose them in their time together as captain and coach.
There have been times where Test cricket has been it's been played in bygone eras as if it was a bit of a chore at times, and practice has for some teams become a little bit of a chore, a little bit predictable, going through the motions into the nets. Everyone does the same thing, bat for half an hour to bowl a couple of overs, and McCullum and Stokes have removed all of that. They've brought the spontaneity and the joy back into Test cricket, not only on the field but off it. Now, talking of joy and spontaneity, the wonderful Neil Wagner, the irrepressible Neil Wagner, who took the final wicket, is also with Sam Melloud.
Yeah, thank you very much for stopping, Neil. Oh, that's why we love Test cricket. Just sum up your emotions on a pretty special day.
Yeah, mate. Whoever doesn't think Test cricket's alive, you only need to look at that. Yeah, I mean, we credit you. The way England played throughout this whole series, they're making Test cricket really exciting, and I thought the way we stuck at it and kept fighting was pretty special too. That's one of the characteristics, I guess, of this group that we put a lot of pride on. And yeah, it was just a special one, and this one will stick in the memory box a long time, I guess.
Looked as if there was periods in this game where England were just pulling away from you. You kept on picking up important wickets. Just sum up how you thought the day played out.
Yeah, it just kept swinging around, didn't it? There's periods where we looked like we were on top, and there's periods where they look like they're bringing it back into their favour too. So I guess that's the beauty of Test cricket. You just got to keep fighting and wait till the end. And gosh, closest game going around, I guess, 1 run. Yeah, it's unheard of sort of thing. And yeah, just a special test, and yeah, still trying to come to terms of it, I guess. But yeah, just something that's really amazing to be a part of.
Especially given the big first innings deficit, does it make it even more special given where you came from?
Yeah, surely does. Being put back in, I guess, to bat in pretty tough conditions against a world-class bowling outfit. They bowled pretty well, and I mean, the way our boys stuck at it, they left really well. They had a solid game plan and sticking true to it. And the way they played, I thought it was pretty special. So to get us in a position to try and chase a win was a huge effort by all the boys, and yeah, we're extremely proud of it.
I'll go and grab a beer, Bob.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Neil Wagner, absolutely brilliant, irrepressible, as I said, 4 for 62. Talking about him perhaps not playing for New Zealand again after the mauling he received at the Bay Oval and Mount Maunganui in the first Test match. But his belief in himself is as great as I've ever seen in any cricketer, and I think he's still got some gas in the tank, Dan.
He had good rhythm today. I thought he was trying almost too hard at Mount Maunganui, going searching. Had a chat to Luke Ronke midway through this test. He's the batting coach, of course, but he used to stand behind the wicket to a lot of bowlers in his time, being a fine wicket keeper. He felt he was pressing too, and they just wanted him to be relaxed, at ease, and almost from the first ball, it looked like it was skidding on Moorharmy, and that's when it is very dangerous, isn't he? Because he's not a tall man, and it's skidded on that the first attempt from Stokes. I think Root's surprised too when he's playing his strokes. He's got rid of Stokes and Root. That's the heart. That's the soul of the chase. They were making it actually look quite easy, those two, and they've thrown the ball to Neil Wagner, and he's turned the furnace on, and he's gone 11.2 over spell, picking up 3 wickets in that. One this morning, getting rid of a very dangerous good player in Ollie Pope, and he'll be loving life because he knows he's probably put a bit more time and life in his Test career.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know what it feels like when you're out of rhythm, out of nick. You don't feel as though you can bowl certain balls because you don't feel as though your action's fully there. I thought that's where he was at Mount Maunganui. One of the biggest bowls you sort of struggle to bowl when you're fighting against yourself. The footmarks are a bit damp, and that's the short ball because you lose your left side. Well, in his case, he loses his right side. And then it becomes more open, a little bit more round arm, and the ball doesn't come out with any velocity on it. Can't really sort of get the short ball getting it dug in. So I thought he bowled a lot fuller at Mount Maunganui than probably I've seen Neil Wagner bowl in a long, long time. But here he's got overs under his belt. He feels a little bit stronger. I actually think when you're drinking the last chance saloon bar, you just go. I would have said something else. We're live on radio. Mentality, And what you do there is you just go, right, this is what's got me here. I've played 62, 63 test matches, bowling bouncers. So it's now or never. And I think he got to that point. I really did. Jacob Oram sat here. You've mentioned it. Frankie said it. This was the sort of possibly the end for Neil Wagner. And what has he turned to? The one ball that he's been very successful with. What he's had, the weapon that he's had in his armoury to keep him in the team time after time after time was the bouncer. It's won the game for him. It's won the game. It's won the game for New Zealand, because if he didn't have that bouncer, he didn't bowl them 11 overs. We talked about Michael Bresswell not being at his best, and he got punished. And I think England would have got home at a canter.
It's a great message, though, for those listening coming through the ranks, about preparation. Prepare your body to go for 11.2 overs. Neil Wagner's first ball was just as quick as his last. That was full throttle, full effort, and the guy is supremely fit and prepared. And yes, he has, one main trick. Everyone can see it coming, and at times people can't deal with it. And he's written at least one last chapter.
It doesn't matter if you're a one-trick pony. Someone's still got to play it.
As long as it's a good trick.
As long as it's a good trick. I've got bouncer written on my forehead, but I let it go at 90 mile an hour or 85 mile an hour, and it goes at your head. You still got to hit it, and that's what happened in this game.
Dan, thank you very much indeed for your time. Not the end of the New Zealand summer, of course. Sri Lanka have arrived, I think, or they're in the air.
Yeah, a test starting, what is today? I think it's Tuesday. New Zealand time.
I've given up.
Thursday week, they go to Hagley Oval. An equally beautiful cricketing oval, true cricket ground, reasonably new on the New Zealand circuit over the last few years to take on Sri Lanka. But then they'll come back here to the Basin Reserve where only good things happen.
Oh, yes, they certainly do. Harmy, let's turn our attention to England now. They'll go their own different ways. England, of course, I will tell you, a different England will start a new series tomorrow, and it's live on TalkSport 2, ball-by-ball commentary of England's white ball tour of Bangladesh. That is an entirely different squad. Nobody can get from the Basin Reserve in Wellington to Dhaka in Bangladesh overnight, I can assure you. Harmy, let's have a quick look. England played the same 11 throughout the two test matches. There were no changes. Let's quick I think top three review. Crawley, Duckett, Pope.
I think Crawley's looking over his shoulder, unfortunately. But we've said that quite a bit throughout the summer, and the men that are in the know, in the power, with the decisions to make, the captain, the coach, Rob Key, they've stuck with Zach Crawley. I think large parts of it was there wasn't anybody knocking the door down, and I think now sort of Johnny Bairstow's got to fit somewhere. I know George Sabell said at lunchtime that about Ben Stokes opening the baton if he can't bowl. I don't think that could happen or should happen, but I think Johnny Bairstow could be the one that comes in to take Zach Crawley's place, because the way you'd sort of dress it up and put it to Johnny Bairstow would be the way you bat in one-day cricket, the way you bat in 50-over cricket. You've won the World Cup as an opening batsman in 50-over cricket, being aggressive, going, putting the bowler under pressure, even against the brand new ball. That's what they've described Zach Crawley as. They did in the summer when Brendan McCullum was asked. He said about consistency. He wasn't bothered about consistency. He wanted to get off to good starts. Well, if that's the case, then Johnny Bairstow can open the bat in this team, and in reality, it's the only place he fits in. Still, possibly a question mark over Ben Duckett outside off stump. Jared Kimber give us the numbers about how many times he's been dismissed in playing away from his body. Australia will see that. So
I thought his 84 in the first innings
was
in Mount
excellent,
Maunganui was one of my tour highlights, to be honest. I mean, it happened on the first day, so we tend to forget about it after day 9 of the series. But we were talking about him becoming the first Englishman to score 100 before lunch on the first day of a test match. I thought his bowling wasn't great, but I've still got a tick there. Although I am
tick for me.
Yeah.
Tick for me. I think the tick's in pen for Ben Duckett. I think it's still in pencil for Zach Crawley if Johnny Bairstow's fit. I don't think I think there's a ready-made replacement there. They're not going to go away from Ollie Pope. I think Ollie Pope's done done fine. He looked frantic a little bit again. He looked fidgety in this Test match, but when you look at before, he got a good 40 in the first innings at Mount Maunganui, and I thought he got a better 49 in the second innings at Mount Maunganui. So Pope's there to steer the batting order. There's only one question mark for me, and that's the openers, and it's which one steers and which one goes. And it would probably be Zach Crawley, I think, is probably running out of bar credit than what Ben Duckett did in Pakistan. He's got a little bit possibly in the bank to see if you can give him some more cricket against top quality attack before you start judging. Root Brook, they're not going nowhere. Is Stokes going to be fit? Well, that's the $1 million question, Manners. I don't think he can go to the IPL. I really don't. I sat before this series and thought, does he play in the World Cup, 50 over World Cup? Well, if he plays in the IPL, plays the Ashes, and then has the 100 off, possibly gets his knee sorted, he could go to the World Cup. Now I look at it and watching him today, watching him in this last 2 days, I think this could be taken out of Ben's hands. I think his knee looks as though that's the worst I've seen him. I think it's the worst I've seen him affect him from a batting point of view. So maybe there is some, I think, more exploratory diagnosis and having a look to see if it's, and that would make sense before the Ashes. We need a few Mike, you just turned the mic off. Is he going to be fit for the Ashes? If he goes to the IPL, is he going to make it worse? Yes, it's got to make it worse. We don't know. We're not specialists, but it's the first time I've looked at Ben when he's batting and thought it's hampering him when they're batting. So it might be taken out of Ben's hands from that front, whether he goes to the IPL or not, because the medical team might say, look, you need to sort something out. You can't manage this anymore. It needs some structural change to it, and then there will be will he be fit for the Ashes sort of countdown to whether he gets there or not. So I think that from a top six point of view, and with that, if Johnny Bairstow's going to go in number one and number two, then I keep Ben Foakes in the team because, pardon the pun, he seems to be a safe pair of hands, both behind the stumps, in the middle, in the dressing room, and around the group. The level sort of calmness that guy gives to this cricket team when there are some ridiculous emotions sometimes is very, very special.
And Broad and Anderson obviously are two of the greatest fast bowlers of all time. They will play a part in the Ashes. I don't think anybody's reputation regressed on this tour at all. You really, you've spoken about him, Zach Crawley's really the only man who didn't enhance or maintain his reputation through. Jack Leach is a remarkable worker, and he toiled exceptionally hard whenever he had to. So a reminder then that England won the first Test match, it seems like ages ago now, by 267 runs in a dominant performance, and the tactical captaincy of Ben Stokes really was to the fore there. The way he manipulated, with the help of his players obviously, the Test match so that England were bowling under lights in both of New Zealand's innings, I thought was genius. And of all the enhanced reputations, there is of course Harry Brook, but Stokes' reputation as a captain, he arrived and it was pretty high. It's even higher now. Yeah,
the ceiling level of that element is huge, and I think for Chennai Super Kings, if he doesn't go to the IPL, that'll be a big blow for Stephen Fleming and that franchise, because I think he was going to go and captain them as well. No, Brendan McCullum said it before. I've heard Ben Stokes say it publicly. I've heard him say it privately to me, that losing, nobody likes losing, but I can take it if we are in a position to win, constantly in a position to win. So because of that, if he keeps to that mindset, he will keep making positive decisions, then it's going to be a fantastic roller coaster watching this England cricket team, and led brilliantly by a man who always wants to entertain. He did it when he was only a player, and now he wants his team to entertain. And for me, that's not bad if I'm a cricket fan.
Not bad at all. So in summary, history has been made on the 5th day. Delayed tea on the final day on the second test match of the Basin Reserve. New Zealand winning the most dramatic test match by a single run, the narrowest possible margin of victory other than 1 wicket. England needed 258. They collapsed to 80 for 5. They recovered to 215 for 8. 95 from Joe Root, but with 7 required, Jimmy Anderson hit a 4 that looked like it might be enough to give England the most extraordinary of victories, but he was then caught down the leg side by Neil Wagner, and he departed for those 4 runs. Jack Leach, unbeaten on 1, wasn't quite good enough. New Zealand, the way they worked, they were certainly deserving of a series levelling victory, and they keep alive their proud record of 11 consecutive home series now without defeat. Hope you've enjoyed all of our coverage on TalkSport 2. There's a lot more international cricket to come. Those of you who enjoy the white ball game, well, 6 of those coming up, 3 ODIs and 3 T20s, all live ball by ball exclusively on TalkSport 2. But for now, from New Zealand, from Wellington, we'll say thanks for your time, thanks for your company, and goodbye.
For the final time of the series, it's over to the England team to see if they can chase down 210, or can the Kiwis pull off one last surprise.
Robinson slices this one up into the air, and there's a man coming underneath it at second slip. He takes the catch.
Edging taken. He went to the cut stroke, a little bit of extra bounce, and Henry gets in on the act, and New Zealand have 2 early wickets. Duck it goes.
This has been the perfect start for New Zealand. They needed to have a good start.
Wagner again, and it's edged and caught at first slip. A fraction shorter, and that is a fine diving effort at first slip. Pope's got to go on his toes. There's a run out. Joe Root has just run out Harry Brook, the golden boy for England with bat and yesterday ball. He's been called through for a non-existent single, and in a blink of an eye, England have lost 4 wickets.
We love this game of cricket. That's why we love this game.
Down the wicket, he has used his feet, and he's driven it over the top of mid-wicket down to the boundary for 6. That's a wonderful shot from Joe Root. Play shot in again, short, wide, and cut by Stokes. Lovely shot.
Stokes loves these moments, doesn't he? These situations. He's built for it. Chalk up another milestone for Joe Root. 100 in the first innings. He's got 50 in the second. The Maestro's at it again. Crunching square drive. Lovely stroke from Joe Root. He's making this look quite easy. What a thriller we have for you right here on TalkSport 2.
Down the wicket comes Joe Root, and he's got underneath, he's got the elevation perfect. He's driven it over long on.
Wagner in again. Stokes steps away. There's a top edge. It's flown up into the air, and it has been caught at backward square leg. Tom Latham, I think it is, who's completed the catch. But Stokes has got to go. Wagner strikes again, and Joe Root drops about on the floor. He's on the pole. He's going to be caught at mid-wicket. He's got a top edge. Neil Wagner's gone bang bang, and England now will have 2 batters at the crease without a run to their name.
Matt Henry's into Stuart Broad. He carves this one out towards third man, and it's caught. Neil Wagner takes the catch. The short ball has done the trick. Matt Henry has removed Stuart Broad.
Nothing better. It is for sure. Test cricket, you cannot beat it.
Fuller, top edge on the pull. Man lining this up. It's Braithwaite. He's put it down. It sailed over his head. He was in off the rope. He's misjudged it. I'm not even sure he's got a hand on it in the end. What a moment. Wagner thought he had 4. 4 runs is what's resulted.
As the short ball is pulled straight past the upraised hand of Neil Wagner, and Ben Foakes adds another 4 to his score, and the deficit drops by the same amount. 20 now needed to win for England. Foakes registers himself, steps away again, and he'll definitely get 1 here, possibly 2, maybe more. 4 runs through mid-wicket. Foakes makes room.
Short, he's gone for the hook shot. Out! Caught! At fine leg! Neil Wagner takes the catch. Ben Foakes is gone. Fletcher punts for 35. The bouncer works. 2:51 for 9. England still needs 7 as Jimmy Anderson comes to the crease. New Zealand is bidding to become just the 4th team in Test match history to win a game after following on. It happens once a century. There is another man in close on the leg side. Wagner in bowls. Anderson swings hard out towards mid-on, and it's gone for 4. Anderson has swung it away through mid-wicket for 4. England need 2 to win. And down the leg side, is an appeal. Up goes the finger. Jimmy Anderson's caught down the leg side. New Zealand have won by 1 run. A most extraordinary Test match comes to an end.
We've had 5 unbelievable days of entertainment. We really have. Test match cricket at its finest. At its finest.